Hello, I'm the Analyst, and normally I talk about Hollywood's biggest box office bombs. Today, however, I'm here to talk about something else Hollywood related. Sequels! For as long as Hollywood has been making movies, they have also been making sequels to those movies. Some managing to far exceed their predecessors, others... And in honor of John Wick Chapter 2, which is getting generally better reviews than its predecessor, amazingly enough, we're going to be counting down the top 10 biggest bumps in sequel quality. These will be ordered by the difference in their Rotten Tomatoes score between the sequel and the prior installment, and just to make things fair, only one entry per franchise. Now let's get on with the list. Number 10. Skyfall vs. Quantum of Solace. While Quantum of Solace was by no means bad, most critics felt it lacked the same spark that drove its predecessor, Casino Royale. 4 years later, Skyfall proved James Bond was back, with a smart, action-packed, and engaging outing, which ended up driving the franchise to its first billion-dollar entry. Difference in score, 27.51 percentage points. Number 9. Men in Black 3 vs. Men in Black 2. Whereas the original Men in Black was seen as a breath of fresh air in an era populated by CGI overkill disaster flicks, its sequel basically kept all of those elements and did little else with them. In 2012, the Men in Black franchise returned with its third entry, and while it wasn't quite as good as the original, it still far exceeded expectations, largely thanks to Josh Brolin's spot-on Tommy Lee Jones impression. Difference, 29.29%. Number 8. Riddick versus The Chronicles of Riddick. The Riddick franchise has never really been a critical darling, generally drawing mixed reviews with the second entry, which is also a massive box office failure for failing to live up to the potential the original film Pitch Black promised. Then came Riddick, which won back some critical support by harkening back to the franchise's simple, brooding sci-fi horror-esque roots. Difference, 29.48%. Number 7. Red Dragon vs. Hannibal. Following up on the iconic The Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal was seen as well made, but widely criticized for lacking the chemistry between its two leads, as The Silence of the Lambs' female lead Jodie Foster had been replaced with Julianne Moore. The next outing in the Hannibal Lecter franchise went in the prequel route, keeping Anthony Hopkins in the key role as Hannibal Lecter, and while it did seem familiar to most, it didn't seem as quite the letdown Hannibal was. Difference, 29.49%. Number 6. Live Free or Die Hard vs. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Okay, I know that this one's going to be divisive, but bear with me here. Back in 1995, the third Die Hard film, which had Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Irons, was seen to have a strong start, but sputtered out later on in the film because of a lack of ideas, or rather fresh ideas. 12 years later, a PG-13 rated outing, Live Free or Die Hard, managed to earn back critical favor with its impressive action sequences and Bruce Willis's performance. While critics feel this is the best sequel in the franchise, fans tend to disagree, though we can all agree is that the worst in the franchise is A Good Day to Die Hard. Difference, 30.44 percentage points. Number 5. The Wolverine vs. X-Men Origins Wolverine. What was supposed to kick off a new series of origin films for the X-Men characters, X-Men Origins Wolverine was riddled with excessive CGI, adult plot, and misusage of many iconic X-Men characters. I'm looking at you, Deadpool. When a second Wolverine came out 4 years later, It managed to do justice to Logan by keeping true to the comics, even if the last act is a bit cartoonish. Difference 31.91 percentage points. Number 4. Final Destination 5 versus The Final Destination. The Final Destination was supposed to end the delayed Death Horror franchise, and while it was the biggest outing yet, it lacked the ingenuity that drove its predecessors. A sequel came out 2 years later, and while it lost a lot of the franchise's fans at the box office, it gained some critical favor, having been seen as a return to form for the franchise, with an unexpected twist ending. Difference 32.82 percentage points. Number 3. Bridget Jones's Baby versus Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason. While the original Bridget Jones wound up engaging audiences thanks to Renee Zellweger's performance and overcoming the criticism of her casting, its sequel, The Edge of Reason, was criticized for having too much slapstick and predictability. It would take nearly 12 years for its sequel to come out, and when it came out, critics hailed it as a bundle of joy in giving the franchise a much-needed shot to the arm. Difference 48.40 percentage points. Number 2. Fast 5 versus Fast and Furious. Revving back the original cast, the fourth Fast and Furious film was a massive success at the box office, though critically it seemed to lack a compelling story. 2 years later, the next entry not only brought back cast members from the other films, but it also added Dwayne Johnson. As such, the fifth outing was praised for being enjoyably over the top, and the franchise hasn't looked back since. Still going strong and having outing number 8 coming out this April. Difference 48.88 percentage points. And the number 1 bump in sequel quality is belonging to Ouija, Origin of Evil versus Ouija. Anyone who read the reviews for these two clearly knew this was going to be number 1. This bump is just outstanding, as while critics felt that the original was boring and not scary, the sequel actually was terrifying and satisfying. In fact, it's the first Michael Bay production to be certified fresh, which is amazing. The difference, 75.77 percentage points. Thanks for watching, press the like button, and be sure to subscribe.